What's up, everyone? I know I was on a couple of hours ago. You were probably there with me. You're thinking, like, why do I got to see this guy's face again? Fair. All I'm saying is the last time you saw me, that was before Kyle Shanahan spoke. That was before news broke. Now there's a whole new world. A whole new world, as Aladdin would say. I got 5 breaking news topics to go over. I'll do them quick, so you can get on with the rest of your day, because I know you don't really want to be looking at me, listening to me talking about the Niners, but we have business to take care of. First, real quick, I'll give you the table of contents, and then I'll go through each one. Jaquasky Tart, IR. Taywan Williams, out for a long time. High ankle sprain. Deebo Samuel, Raheem Mostert, and Richard Sherman not practicing today. Kendrick Bourne tested negative for COVID after a positive test, 2 negative tests, and a positive test. And Austin Walter, running back, called up from practice squad. So let's go over this real quick. Jaquasky Tart, he may have played his final game with the 49ers. And if he did, let's go through what he did. First off, turf toe. IR, no real indication when he's coming back or if he'll come back. I mean, let's say the Niners go on a run, make the playoffs. He theoretically might be able to return for the playoffs. But then again, if the Niners go 5-2 and make the playoffs, probably it means that his replacement was better than him. And why would they switch things up if they go 5-2 or 6-1 over the next, 7 games? And so then if the Niners lose a bunch of games and the season's over, why would he come back when they've been eliminated? Because he's not going to be on this team next year, most likely. He'll be a free agent. The Niners have so many other people they have to sign. They have to give Fred Warner an extension. They have to give Trent Williams an extension. There's no money for Jaquasky Tart. So I think it's possible he's played his final game with the 49ers. So let's look back on his career. He was a second-round pick in 2015. Trent Baalke took him. One of the better picks of Trent Baalke's career. This is Jaquasky Tart's final stat line, maybe, with the 49ers. 6 seasons, 66 games played. That's an average of, 11 games a season? He missed 23 games. And if he misses the rest of the games this year, he will have missed 30. That's 5 a season. So he's good for 11, and he's going to miss 5. That's Jaquasky Tart. In those 11 games per season, he racked up 301 tackles, 16 tackles for loss, 4 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, 4 sacks, 17 pass breakups. Not the greatest career. Not a bad career. He was a decent player. That's how I'll remember Jaquasky Tart. If my kids are like, hey, Dad, who was this number 29 who was the strong safety for the 49ers for 6 seasons? What was it like? What was he like? I'll be like, yeah, he was decent. And then I'll change the subject. Yeah, he was cool. He was all right. End of story. Well, what did he do really well? Was he like a really hard-hitting tackler? No, not really. No. Oh, okay. Well, was he a playmaker? Did he get the ball away from the team a lot? No, I wouldn't. He wasn't that either. Okay, so he wasn't a tone setter. He wasn't a playmaker. Was he a coverage specialist? No, not really. Not a coverage specialist either. He's good in man-to-man coverage when he's not misdiagnosing runs and passes. That's the problem. Safeties have to play the run, and he has a tough time realizing what's a run and what's the pass. So then my son or daughter or grandson will be like, okay, so what made Jaquasky? How did he make tens of millions of dollars in the NFL? And I'll say, I don't know. Hit a great name. And a lot of people, I liked him. He was a nice guy. He would talk to you in the locker room, and he would respond to your criticisms and stuff. Although he's very sensitive. Very sensitive. I mean, he will, if you go on Twitter right now and tweet something about him, he'll read it. And larger point about athletes in general, at least athletes who are younger than me, they seem to misinterpret coaching as criticism. I wouldn't be surprised if that was Dante Pettis' issue. A lot of these guys have been coddled since middle school or younger. They've been identified as a future athletic star by 7th grade. They're on special teams. They're getting ranked by special websites like Rivals and stuff as they have stars next to their name, 5-star recruits, 4-star recruits. So when they finally get to the NFL, no one's ever critiqued them before. No one's ever said, you don't do this particularly well. All they've heard since they were 13 is, you're the greatest. You're so good. Will you please be on my team? Will you please come to my school? Will you please sign this contract? Can I please be your agent? And then finally get to the NFL and you get a coach who's like, what in the world is this? And people are like, well, why are you being a hater? Why are you being a hater? So Tart, whichever team gets Jaquasky Tart is getting a very sensitive, strong safety who misses 5 games a season and doesn't make plays. Other than that, he's terrific. The best sensitive, non-playmaking, non-hard-hitting, non-durable safety in the league. But there's no question about it. He is in another category. He is the elite of the unreliable, strong safeties. Yeah. So whichever team gets him, good luck. Have fun. Okay, let's move on. Taywan Williams. Taywan Williams has a high ankle sprain. He also may have played his final game with the 49ers. Taywan Williams, so that's what Taywan and Jaquasky Tart have in common, the fact that they're on the way out, most likely. That's it, though. That is all they have in common, because what I see from Taywan Williams is one of the better players the Niners had the last 3.5 seasons. One of the better free agent signings this regime made. And I think it might have been the first signing they made. Taywan Williams. He was an undrafted free agent in Cleveland. Kyle Shanahan was with them there. He had some good seasons, but he almost fell out of the league. He had an injury issue. It was weird. He missed a season. He came here. He's been terrific. So real quick, I just kind of roasted Jaquasky Tart, who, I love you, Jaquasky. Let's give Taywan Williams his due. In 3.5 seasons with the 49ers, he played, let's see, 49 games, okay? So he played 49 games with the 49ers in 4 years, almost what Jaquasky Tart did in 6 years. In those 49 games, remember, he's only a part-time player. He only started 27. He's a nickelback. Intercepted 3 passes, broke up 11, forced 6 fumbles, recorded 3 sacks, 164 tackles, 12 tackles for loss, 6 quarterback hits. Pretty good player. The Niners certainly got their money's worth. And the reason I say he won't be back next year, he's old and injury prone. I think his body's starting to break down. He's 29 now. He'll turn 30 in July. He's 5'9". His body's starting to go. There's no shame in that. I'm always the guy who says I think cornerback is the most important position on a team, on the entire football team, corner. But the issue with cornerbacks are that they kind of fall apart around 29, 30. You have to be the most athletic player on your team to play corner because you're covering the best athletes on offense. And once you get to 29, 30, 31, 32, you're just not the best athlete on your team anymore. Take it from someone who's 32. I'm so slow. And I used to be the fastest player in the world. I used to be the fastest person in the world. So fast. Now I'm not. And it's because I'm 32, not for any other reason. I was really, really, really fast. So 32, K1, I don't know. He'll probably get another job somewhere else, but the Niners need to start looking to the future. So I don't know what they'll do, whether they'll sign DJ Reed. They don't have a young nickelback that they've been grooming. It was DJ Reed, and then they waived him because they thought they had to. He was injured. Seahawks picked him up. Real quick question from Kyler V. Will we ever see D Ford in a Niners jersey again? I'm thinking no. Players who have played their final game in a Niners uniform. I'm thinking not Richard Sherman. He's going to come back. He needs to play a few more. I'm going to get to Richard Sherman. Taywan Williams, Jaquasky Tart, D Ford. Never will play again for the 49ers. In D Ford's case, they're going to need to cut him next year. They can't keep paying him to not play. That's what they've done. They've paid him $33 million to not play. 272 snaps total, 2 seasons with the Niners, not counting the playoffs. No, he's got to go. D Ford, never see you again. K1. So the Niners got to find a strong safety. They got safeties. They got to find a nickelback. Maybe it should be Jimmy Ward. Maybe the Niners should move Jimmy Ward back to nickelback and play Tavarius Moore at free safety and play Marcel Harris at strong safety. I would like to see that. If this season goes sideways and the Niners can't win anymore, enough of Jimmy Ward at free safety. He's a decent free safety in the sense that he makes no plays, but he's kind of versatile and he allows you to disguise coverages. Fine. Play him at nickel. Play him as a designated tight end coverage guy and put Moore and Harris at free safety. That's the future there. Jimmy Ward isn't young either. He's not durable either. I mean, Jimmy Ward, is he going to finish the season? We'll see. So K1, certainly a respectable 49ers career if it goes no further. He deserves your respect. Jaquasky Tart, I would consider him sort of a nondescript 49ers career. Like in a couple of years when he's long gone, you'll look back and be like, wow, he was their starting strong safety for 6 seasons? That really came and went fast. I almost don't remember it. I mean, 2 years from now, if I said, quick, what was the best play Jaquasky Tart ever made with the Niners? You're going to be like, who? I don't remember that player, let alone any plays he ever made. Let's talk about the guys who do have a future on this team. Deebo Samuel, Raheem Mostert, Richard Sherman. These are the injured players who are coming back. And it seemed like Mostert and Deebo Samuel in particular would be coming back this week and playing in the Saints game. I don't think that's going to happen. Shanahan told us that neither one practiced today. And that's a problem because to get Deebo Samuel or Raheem Mostert back on the field this Sunday, they're going to need to practice a little bit this week. If they're not healthy enough to even stretch and warm up today, they're probably not going to play on Sunday. So that, to me, is a very interesting call by the 49ers because they've been kind of in panic mode, frantic mode all year. I mean, they rushed Jimmy Garoppolo back on the field. They rushed Raheem Mostert back on the field. Their attitude the first 8 weeks of the season was, hey, if you can walk, you can play. We need you. These are all must-win games. And they lost a lot of those must-win games. The season isn't over. They have 4 wins. I mean, to get in, they're like a game back from the wildcard teams in the win column. If they were going to stay in character and stick to their pattern, they would rush these guys back for this game and say, we need you. We might win. But I think it's clear that they're feeling like, you know what, we're probably not going to beat the Saints. Even if we did rush everyone back, still probably won't beat the Saints. Look what they just did to Tom Brady. Look what they just did to the Bucs, who are better than the Niners. So the Niners might beat the Saints, but really, is it fair to rush Richard Sherman and Deebo Samuel and Raheem Mostert back for a game you're probably going to lose and risk re-injuring them, further injuring them? Nah, it's not a good call. Better call is to sit them out one more week. Lose a game you're probably going to lose one way or another. Then you got a bye week. Now, by sitting by sitting these players 1 week, you're basically sitting them 2 weeks because there's a bye week coming up. So I like it. You give Raheem Mostert about 5 weeks off, Deebo about 4 weeks off, something like that. And then even if they lose this upcoming game, they'll be 4-6. Deebo comes back week 12. Mostert comes back week 12. Richard Sherman comes back to week 12. It's a whole different team. It's a whole different freaking team. Could they go on a run? We'll see. The Niners seem to win a lot when they have Deebo Samuel. Have you noticed that? What is their record with him in the game? Pretty good. I'd like to check that out. I've been having a bunch of, and then also, what is the Niners record when Raheem Mostert plays and gets more than 4 carries? Those two tend to win a lot. Hey, Danny, bless you too. I love you. So I'm not writing this team off. You can lose this weekend, go into the bye week, do something interesting coming up after the bye week with all your guys. I think it's a good move by the Niners to play for the final 5 games. I don't think they're tanking. I think they are being smart. And I think that they should be confident that they can make one more run even without Jimmy Garoppolo, because I'm not sure that they could make a run with Jimmy Garoppolo this year. They got who they got, and it's good enough. They should the first week after the bye week, they play the Rams. They should win that game, especially if they have Debo. All right. Let's do Kendrick Bourne real quick and then the practice squad guy, and then I'll let you go. I don't get what's going on with the Kendrick Bourne situation. He tested positive for COVID-19. Then he tested negative twice. Then he tested positive again. Now he's tested negative. I asked Kyle Shanahan today, I was like, can you please explain what's going on here? It seemed like I thought he had a false positive. Now it seems like he had a false negative. And Shanahan's like, yeah, I really can't explain that. I can't talk about that. And then he's like, but then he does. And he's like, okay, well, he went positive, negative, negative, positive, negative. Hopefully, if he keeps having negatives, we can, play him this weekend. What I want to know, and I should have asked, I'll ask next time, these tests, did the Niners get them themselves or did the league administer them? Like, did the Niners go to the flea market and buy half price tests? What is going on? Why are the Niners the only team having this issue? It's just so weird. So now he doesn't have it. So now it's back to looking like it was a false positive. But who knows? These Niners tests might say he has COVID in a couple of days. Poor guy. Poor team. The NFL really should expand the playoffs this year to 8 teams because this is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The fact that that loss last week to the Packers was ridiculous. That they couldn't have Kendrick Bourne for the game or those other 3 guys who were in close contact with someone who may or may not have had COVID. That's a game the NFL should have canceled. They should go to 8 playoff teams in each conference, kind of like what baseball did and basketball did. Everyone gets in. I think they should do that. The Niners they've had bad luck, but they've also gotten screwed over by the league or by these tests that they bought on their own from the Compton swap meet or wherever. Where do they get these? I don't know. Between the faulty tests and the myriad of setbacks the Niners players have, it's like, can't you just go to Stanford Hospital like you used to? Is it that expensive? Are you not worth billions of dollars? Richard Sherman, he said he had a calf injury. He missed 10 weeks with a calf injury. I'm thinking he probably re-injured his Achilles. Nick Bosa, for the love of God, do not do your rehabilitation with the 49ers. Get out of there. Run for the hills. Protect yourself. If you don't want 8 setbacks, do your rehabilitation in Florida with your dad. He seems to have a better handle of how to train athletes than the Niners. So, what's up, Raheem Mostert? Finally, Austin Walter, practice squad running back they called up. He was active for the final game, the previous game against the Packers. Didn't get a carry, returned a punt, a kick, returned it well, ran hard. I would like to see him get a little bit more because we've seen from Jerick McKinnon is he's one of the pleasant surprises of this season. Good player, running very hard, not what he used to be, but he missed 2 seasons. He went through a lot. Of course, he's not what he used to be. No one expected that. Still a quality player, but you can't give him more than 12 carries a game. You can't. Really, he should be at like 9 or 10 with 3 catches. That's respectable. That's respectable. So you can't just have that be your only running back. Jermichael Hasty, he's played like 3 games. Okay? If he isn't doing that well, if he has 4 yards on 3 carries, you can't just abandon the run game entirely. Give Austin Walter a shot. It's not like you trust Jermichael Hasty that much more. Hasty's younger. Hasty fumbled in the last game. Walter played with you last year. He played preseason games with you. Give him shots. Give him a shot. Part of the reason the Niners lost to the Packers, aside from the fact that they gave up 1 million points, was that they didn't have a running back they could consistently go to. McKinnon played well, but didn't get the ball enough. They're saving him for the next loss. Austin Walter should play. I like what he saw. Go back and watch his Clips from preseason last year. He can get to the edge. He runs hard. He's low to the ground. Not afraid of contact. Falls forward. I don't know about how he is as a receiver. You're not using him as a receiver. You're using him as a runner. Austin Walter. I like that. I like that move. Now use him. I like that move. Now use Austin Walter. I couldn't tell you where he went to college. I don't remember that much of him, but I did watch him in training camp. Decent player. We need to get back to Forrest Buckner. I don't think he's available. They had him. Just probably shouldn't have let him go. All right, guys. That's enough. Interesting injury updates. Someone asked, oh, wait. Someone asked, and I don't know where it went. Oh, will Brandon Ayuk and Trent Williams play? I think so. Yes. Haven't heard anything else. So far, it's just a Kendrick Bourne thing. So I'll get back to you on that. But yes, Brandon Ayuk, Trent Williams should play this weekend. So the Niners should at least compete, but without Deebo Samuel, it'll be tough. Real quick, though. Kyle, I know you're watching, and I know you're not going to have Deebo Samuel most likely, and that's tough. Use Richie James in the Deebo Samuel role. See what happens. No. Don't argue with me. Don't argue with me. I hear you. Don't argue with me. Just give it a shot. Give it a shot. You don't play Richie James Jr. anyway. Don't tell me that you're concerned about his health. Give it a shot. If you're willing to let Deebo Samuel run into defenders 8 times a game and risk his health, give Richie James a shot. He can do it. He can pick up yards on the same plays. He won't do it in the same style, but he can do it with the same efficiency or close to it. Give him a shot. Kyle, look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Play Richie James Jr. in that role. You got to have the shovel passes, the screens. Don't do to Nick Mullins what you always do to Nick Mullins and call plays for him like he's John Elway. And then when he struggles a little bit, say, oh, well, what do you want me to do? No. Richie James Jr. in the Deebo Samuel role. Come on. I believe in you, Kyle. This is me doing my quality control work. This is why you hired me unofficially, to tell you what to do. This is why you pay me no money. What's the point of paying me no money if you're not going to get your money's worth? Think about it, Kyle. Think about it. All right, guys. I'll see you later. Take care.